era of accountability that I will be bringing to City Hall, and that starts on day one.
How do you plan to bring back fiscal stability at City Hall?
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, we had a lot of problem to balance the book. We need the help from Ottawa and from Toronto.
Our budget has gone through the roof. It's increased by $3.5 billion over 4 years. When I took office in 2018, I believe our operating budget was somewhere around $13 million, and today it's $16.5 billion. Now, like, a lot has changed, and we went through a pandemic, but the pandemic's over, and life has to move forward. Our two biggest cost drivers are shelters, which means we're in the hotel business. We've got a lot of hotels. We got to get out of the hotel business, and transit subsidy. We spend over $1 billion a year subsidizing the fare box on the TTC. Now, something important for all of us to note is that 2/3 of the revenue for the TTC comes from the fare box, comes from riders, and there's no other system in North America that has such a high level of operating costs derived from the fare box. And so, since ridership has gone down, we have been jammed with a huge gap, a shortfall, to make sure that the trains continue to run on time and that we have the service that we need, but we don't have the revenue coming in because there's not the ridership. So I will be pushing both the federal government and the provincial government to get in on transit operating dollars. They've skated on this for decades, and frankly, you look at any other state, US side, you've got the state and the federal government putting money into operating. And the TTC is the lifeblood of this city, and Toronto is the lifeblood of the Canadian economy. 20% of our GDP, of course, comes from the city of Toronto. And so they need to step up on that front. We can't hold the bag for other levels of government's decisions, whether that is, immigration and refugees or transit operating subsidy. We just can't be everything to everybody, and we have to be honest about that. In terms of fiscal management, the open tendering piece, conservatively, I estimate $200 million a year. And that number comes from looking at the savings in Hamilton, in Peel region, in Waterloo region. Those are real savings that they have achieved, 21% on average in Hamilton. And if you put that into our capital budget, it's $347 million. The number I'm using is $200 million, but that's money we can put into TTC and housing and services. These are the common sense solutions that we need to bring forward at City Hall, and again, get more juice from the squeeze. There's lots of opportunities to do better on our procurement by improving our process. Probably shouldn't talk too much about procurement because I'll put everyone to sleep, but I'll just tell you, there is a huge City of Toronto premium for any of the contractors doing work on our projects, because there's so much uncertainty. They build massive contingencies, and they either make money on the front end or on the back end with penalties, because it is so difficult to work with the City of Toronto. That's why I am going to streamline process, reduce red tape, and bring in an era of accountability with my mayor's mandate letters. People don't care who's building the transit. They don't care if it's the province. They don't care what it's called. They just care that the transit gets built. And so our agencies, whether it's the TTC or Toronto Hydro or anybody who's involved in infrastructure in the right-of-way, they need to make sure that they're rowing in the same direction with whoever's building the transit, so that we're not part of the problem. We're not part of the delay. And I think that, if you look at the experience on Eglinton Crosstown, yes, it's failed leadership from Metrolinx. They own it. That's their project. That's their problem. They need to come up with the solutions. But we need to be more helpful too. When we encounter a hydro vault underground that wasn't on the map, we can't just have a boring machine sitting there, putt in the ground, and we'll get to it when we get to it. That can't be the attitude either. So everybody has to be committed to building the infrastructure that we need to unlock the growth, and there can't be delays on our end. So that'll be different going forward too.